project manager.
I'm Lexi O'Neill, and I'm the Rainmaker.
I'm Jasmine, and I'm our team researcher.
I'm Jack, and I manage the marketing and financials.
And I'm Megan, and I manage our customer relationships.
Good evening. Hi, we're Digital Bloom. We're a nonprofit organization striving to close the digital divide. Before the pandemic, roughly 28% of people in Elgin did not have access to technology because they fell under the poverty line. Due to COVID, many people lost their jobs, causing a financial strain to many families. Personally, 2 of our own group members' parents lost their jobs during this rough time, which is what ultimately inspired us to create Digital Bloom. Digital Bloom will be collecting and donating used Chromebooks to local homeless shelters for $20 each. We found that with a for-profit model, we could be making a lot of money off of these Chromebooks, but we choose to make a difference in our community and give back to those in need. With these Chromebooks, those in poverty can use them to make resumes, find jobs, do schoolwork, and everyday life things. Almost everyone in our community has an old Chromebook at home, so why not donate it for a good cause? Our goal as social entrepreneurs is to close the digital divide and give people an opportunity to get back on their feet.
For our MVP, Digital Bloom collected 50 Chromebooks from the community, and we personally cleared and wiped them ourselves and sorted them into categories like broken and which ones were working. This Monday, April Rudzik, the CEO and president of DuPage County Pads, came to us and collected the Chromebooks. From this experiment, we learned that we can charge a small fee per Chromebook when we're giving them to the organizations.
Here's a quick message from the CEO of DuPage County Pads, April Redson.
DuPage Pads. I am so excited to voice our support for Digital Bloom and their work that they're doing right now in our community. Digital Bloom has partnered with DuPage Pads to provide us with Chromebooks so that we can make education more readily available for the young people who are staying with us right now in need of shelter because their families have been experiencing homelessness. DuPage Pads is helping about 300 people every night with shelter, 133 of whom are children who are in need of education supports. Our hope is that as a part of our education room and the education programming we're offering, that children who are in need of resources and supports will have access to a computer of their own so that they can study, they can learn, they can expand what they're learning about during the summer, and we can narrow the education divide between children experiencing poverty and children who have no resources. Thanks so much.
So now moving on to our customer connections, we have 2 customer personas. Our first one would be the shelters, and ideally they'd be 501c3 businesses, and they'd have access to internet, and they'd be helping people out of poverty. Our second customer persona would be Jordan, who'd be a male Hispanic 14-year-old who is in poverty and seeks out help from the DuPage County Center. And he wants to continue his education, but he lacks the resources like technology to do so. Moving on to our customer segments, we have our customer who would be the actual shelters, and they'd be purchasing our Chromebooks for $20 each, and we would have our beneficiary segment, who would be the people actually receiving the Chromebooks and those donating them.
Pricing strategy. For our total addressable market, there are 49 million people in the U.S. who are in poverty. For our serviceable addressable market, there are 488,000 people in poverty within the northeastern region of Illinois, and for our serviceable obtainable market, there are 5,000 students in our district, and we hope to reach 25%, which is roughly 1,250 kids.
So sometimes when working with revenue in a nonprofit, it can be a little bit confusing, so here's our cycle to explain it. So in the first year, we're planning on donating 192 Chromebooks, and then in the beginning of the second year, we're going to donate 1,250 Chromebooks, and then at the end of the second year, we're going to collect those Chromebooks, so we're going to buy them back, and then we're going to sell them for about $50 for their parts.
Alright, so as a revenue, like we said, we're going to get $20 per Chromebook, and then once we buy them back, we're going to sell them for parts, which is, you can make about $50 per Chromebook off of one. And then our expenses is that if we do not collect enough chargers, we have to buy them for $15 each for wholesale. And our marketing cost is $512, which we'll get into on further slides. And then once we buy the Chromebooks back after 2 years, we have to pay $10 each. And we also hope to have a fundraiser to collect the Chromebooks, but that's not exactly part of our revenue stream, but we'd love to partner with the Central Education Foundation Board to help sponsor it.
So in the fourth year, Digital Bloom will have a value of about $300,000. So revenue streams for that year are $100,000 for Chromebook sales, and then $250,000 in selling for parts, excuse me. And then marketing. So the first one, we have an Instagram post, which is kind of explaining our mission statement and who we are of a team. The middle one is a post for Women's History Month. During that month, we really focus on how the digital divide affects women. And then the last post is the last post is an Instagram story post advertising one of our potential fundraisers, which would be a run for technology. And then we have an email blast, which would go out to the people that have already donated the Chromebooks to us, just to keep them in the loop of fundraisers going on. And then the middle post is a post for spring we posted, which is like spring cleaning, so donate Chromebooks to us kind of a thing. And then the last one is a Valentine's Day post, which we posted like, do a date with a Chromebook and donate a Chromebook to us.
So for our cost of marketing, on Instagram, we'll be posting 48 times a year, which would be once weekly, therefore would total us at $325. Our email blasts and school newsletters we'll be sending out monthly, however, those won't cost us anything. Next up is our printed flyers, which cost $104 to print off 100 flyers, which we'll be doing once a year as well, therefore it'll cost us $104. And last but not least, we'll have Facebook advertising. We'll also be posting 48 times a year, therefore weekly, and that'll cost $83. For our campaign run, we start off with our email blasts. Those will each be monthly. Our Instagram and our Facebook, like I said earlier, will be weekly, so therefore it'll happen every single month. Then we have our flyers, which we'll post around all the way through May through August, right before when we have our potential fundraiser. And last but not least, we also have our school newsletters, which we'll send out monthly. Each month that school is in session, so our cost for marketing is $512.
All right, so our sales plan is that we want to get in contact with all the local PADS homeless shelters in our area. This would be McHenry PADS, Elgin PADS, Lake County PADS, and Southwest Chicago PADS. And since we're already in contact with DuPage PADS, we hope that April Redsick, the CEO and president, will help network our idea and get us with partnerships with them.
So why Digital Bloom? Digital Bloom is a nonprofit organization that wants to give back to the community. We want to give people in poverty a chance to get back on their feet via technology. 10% of our commission will go back to the 301 Education Foundation, and everyone in our community has an old Chromebook, so why not donate it to a good cause? Donate a device, change a life.
So investors, we're asking for $3,012 for our startup costs and our liquidity cushion. You may be wondering why our startup costs are so high. It's because since we're a nonprofit, our legal fees will cost us about $2,000.
So investors, what do you say?
Fantastic job, guys.
Thank you.
Can you please take me through your, the cycle again? That's where I got a little bit confused.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
that one.
So for the first year, we're gonna collect 192 Chromebooks. And so then we're gonna be selling them for $20 a piece to these organizations, since $20 really isn't that much compared to like $200 buying new. And so then at the end of the second year, we're gonna collect those Chromebooks, and then the ones that we donated in the first year, and we're gonna sell them to for parts.
And the reason that we're buying them back after 2 years is because these Chromebooks don't have a huge lifespan, and so after 2 years they can get pretty rusted. So we want to buy them back for $10 and then sell those for parts, which we could be making even more money off of those.
So when they go to the homeless shelters, they're going to the shelters. They're not going to the individuals. So they're not for the individuals to keep.
We are planning on leaving that up to the shelters. So DuPage County PADS, what they're doing is they're going to be keeping some inside their education center, their new facility. And then because a lot of times they have a lot of teens and people getting an education that struggle with having their own, they are going to be giving majority of those Chromebooks out so that they can have them for themselves.
First off, good job, guys. You guys really knocked it out of the park. My question is, I see this growing much more than just Chromebooks. Do you guys have plans for phones, iPads?
Yeah, we would totally
Okay.
continue, love to continue with other technology, but the reason that we chose Chromebooks was because of the abundance that we have with them within the community. So everyone usually has one or two Chromebooks, and it's just super easy. And everyone they're sitting at home, so why not donate them to?
Okay, but you
cause.
guys have thought about.
Yeah, we
Okay.
have.
We knew we could get a good start with Chromebooks because they're just so accessible within our district.
Yeah.
But we did talk to April a few days ago about expanding our business once we get a good start on it. So,
Perfect. Good job, guys.
thank you.
Hey guys, how you doing?
Good.
Sorry for being late, of course, but you guys do a great job through the whole thing. Since day one, since I've been watching you guys seem like you really have this well thought out and have a good plan in place. And even since just last week, since we saw you guys, I've seen more advancement in what you guys. The presentation today was excellent. And so, one thing I wanted to ask you about is year two there, that goal is at 1250. Is that a goal you guys plan to achieve, or is that something you already thought this is how we're going to get them, and this is,
So what we did is we took 5 schools, kind of in our conference, and then we're saying oh, if these schools donate this many Chromebooks, that's how many we'll be able to collect if we go to each school.
Okay. And then can you switch over to your evaluation page?
The why Digital Bloom one, or
It was
which-
300,000, and
Oh,
you said it was going to be worth
oh wait, that's
right there. Yeah. I was wondering, where did you get the $300,000 figure from in 4 years?
So it's the $100,000 from the Chromebooks. So we're going to be selling those for $20, and then for selling for parts, we're projected to make $250,000.
And we are also making money when we are buying them back because we sold them for 20 and we're buying them back for 10. So it's not a lose-lose situation for the organization, and it gives them some substance or hope that they are not losing a ton of money, even though $20 might seem like a lot per Chromebook.
We're also gradually working our way up with how many schools we're planning on trying to target, which is why our numbers are the way that they are. So the first 2 years we start off with about 5 schools. Well, first we start with our school, then 5 schools, and then we go up to 10, and then we double that to 20. So it's just really doubling the amount of schools that we have those first 4 years.
And I'd also like to add that once we have the $300,000, we want to give 10% back to the Central Education Foundation Board if we do partner with you guys. So we said that in the last slide, but I don't know if someone went over it.
Awesome. And, oh shoot, I just forgot what I was going to say. I lost my train of thought. Here, pass it down, I'm going to think. No, because I had another question for you guys, and I just lost my train of thought.
The only question that I have is based on maintenance. So when folks are donating these Chromebooks, is that your ass? I had it.
No, I got it back, I remember.
Send it back
Pass
to
it
Roy.
back to me in a second.
So for the maintenance of it,